evening, everybody. Welcome to Bienvenue, Chicago. I'm just getting set up here. So what do we have to report today? I was just checking out some other TikTok lives. It's so funny because, there are some nice people on there and there's some real jerks too. I guess it's just like anything else, huh? In society, we find a little bit of everything. Oh, my goodness. So today, we had another fire in Harvey. Because these corrupt politicians can't get their you-know-what together. And my sources tell me that it was on Halstead, and that it was excuse me, a lot of places where some drug users were living, which could be true, but it still not acceptable. It's like we should not be having all these fires. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't even know if I shared this in the Historical Society page. I probably should. But yeah, thanks to John Keller for getting some photos and everything. This was literally just earlier today. I think this afternoon, I'm gonna say. I think it was this afternoon. I'll give John some press here. D-Love did a video about it. Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's definitely in her ward. I'm sure Tyrone Rogers was nowhere to be found. I doubt that he was actually doing anything. A 10-brick apartment building, exactly. So check out John Keller's page. He does fire photography in the Chicagoland area. So this is his post that he did. Working fire, 14624 South Halstead. Harvey Fire Department and their auto aid were toned? I don't know what that means. Or if it's a typo. To a structure fire, okay. They found a fire on the first floor of a vacant 2-story apartment building. Engine 35 let out 2 lines, okay. The fire was quickly knocked. There were no injuries. Well, that's good at least. But what do you notice? See, there's only one engine from Harvey. Only one engine. And we have Hazelcrest, Posen, Markham, Thornton, Dalton, Phoenix. Not good, guys. Not good. We are not fighting our own fires, but we're giving money to outside developers and free land. Not a good idea. And it's a shame too, because even if they need work, like those brick buildings, I know they're not the most attractive, but they are pretty sturdy. They make good homes for people. And this is what happens when you don't take care of things properly. So that's that. But that's okay. Don't worry, because all the aldermen are still getting paid. Korean Davis, our city administrator, she's still getting her 6-figure salary in her city car. She gets to take home. Ramona Simpson gets her, big paycheck and gets her car to take home. We're still paying, 80. Oh, I forgot what it said the chief's salary is, which is probably like an underestimate, given that it comes from Harvey. But I want to say it's like between 85 and maybe 125,000 that all of our senior police officials make and they don't do anything. They don't actually help patrol or do anything. We only have 3 or 4 police on each shift and 3 or 4 firefighters on each shift for 6 square miles, 19,000 people. Not good. But they're still paying money. It's just the money goes to what they want the money to go to, these politicians. It's not good. All right. What else did I want to? Oh, yeah. And that was part of the other thing we were going to talk about is the backlash from yesterday. Let me see. Oops, did I close it? Oh, okay. No, here it is. Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, there's the one Melissa one. I wanted to start though with well actually no, that's all right. Let's start with the Melissa one. Oh, excuse me guys. Oh man. I don't need to be yawning like that. And I shared it in the Historical Society group. But thank you again, Melissa. I've been so busy with work. I don't always have time to do the research and make the posts that I want to do. But so Melissa Crawley posted, "This is the man who Clark gave 9 parcels of land to. He has 7 counts of fraud on his background. Harvey police arrest citizens simply for exercising free speech." And then you can see this picture. This is the guy that was speaking, John Groff. He was speaking in that press conference I shared yesterday about the groundbreaking. I say in quotes because I really don't even know if they have an intention of building. It's some sort of scam, I'm sure. Clark arrested a sitting council member because she demanded information on Clark allowing a home to be sold for $2,000, again, to an out-of-towner that is, I think they're white. But that same man in the city of Harvey has entered into business with him. Jedediah Brown has a video saying he stands to make millions of dollars from the deal. How and in what capacity? Exactly. Now ask yourself, why did they install a clerk who was also convicted of 2 counts of fraud? The mayor, Shirley, was on TV saying she never looked into her, Janet Rogers, her background because it was the past. I'm sure. But check this out, as she was pardoned, but was again declared fiducially irresponsible by an independent investigator and was accused of a hiring scheme in 2022. But the mayor, Shirley, and Janet Rogers sat on the same board of South Suburban College together in recent years. Reports are Shirley's the one who hired her. So how the hell could she not know her background? I'm just asking questions, and you should too. And this is this YouTube video. A Black mayor threatened with disturbing voicemail from bigoted law firm staffer, allegedly.
In voicemail left by law firm staffer. According to NJ.com, at a December 11th news conference, Mayor LaDana Thomas of Penns Grove, New Jersey, says she has been a victim of attacks from a local law firm staffer who not only threatened her, but called her racial slurs. She'd go on to play audio of a February 2021 voicemail allegedly made by the Lento Law Group's firm administrator, one John Groff. Now, the New Jersey Globe reported the recording as saying, quote, "I'll be damned if I'm going to have some black effing B. Okay, tell somebody that it's my effing fault, that she don't know what the F she's doing. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to destroy her. I'm going to effing destroy her." New Jersey Globe with the inflammatory details there. That's the reporting, folks. That's the reporting.
The one who dies with...
So, yeah. There should be another. Oh, Zoe's post is so true too. Harvey's broke, but we're breaking ground on a 3-bed, 1.5 bathroom housing development. Make it make sense. Exactly. And who's going to pay 180 to whatever, 250,000 to live next to burnt out houses and abandoned houses and trash, and like it just doesn't make any sense. That's why I'm telling you guys that we know it's a scam. They're up to something. All right. There was one other post that she did. What was her one from yesterday? I know I shared it. Here it is. Melissa Crawley. The point isn't the decision. The point is the design. Since the last article, Shirley Drewenski has been sworn in as acting mayor, and the city has proceeded with the appointment of Janet M. Rogers as municipal clerk. The appointment itself will be contentious, but the problem is not simply who was appointed. The problem is how the appointment took place and whether the process was structured to build confidence or simply to move the city to the next step. And one detail matters more than people want to admit. What gets placed first becomes the frame for everything that follows. When the clerk appointment is introduced before the public has a clear picture of the city's fiscal posture and policy priorities, it signals that continuity inside the building is being stabilized before confidence outside the building is rebuilt. I agree. That may be administratively convenient. It is not credibility building. The clerk isn't ceremonial. The clerk is the paper trail. Exactly. Oh my gosh. And this is what I keep saying. Like, if you want to steal money and try to cover it up, Janet Rogers is your girl. And they know this. So there's no other reason why they would have brought her in. The municipal clerk is not an honorific position. The clerk is the official custodian of the city's record, ordinances, minutes, certifications, documents. This position touches open meetings compliance, FOIA readiness. So when we submit our FOIA request, it goes through the clerk's office. And record retention obligations. In other words, the clerk protects the paper trail that proves what is binding and what is verifiable. That requires public trust. Janet Rogers' public history has been well documented. Media reports have included previous felony fraud convictions and a subsequent gubernatorial pardon. A pardon under Illinois law is executive clemency, forgiveness of the legal effects of a conviction. It is not automatic expungement. It does not negate historical fact. It may restore rights, but it does not alter record. Citizens are not foolish for seeking a clear understanding of the legal implications of a pardon, particularly within a role that deals with record integrity. When a position is about records, people will ask about records. That's not malice, that's logic. Adding to public concern is the interlocking nature of the political structure at Harvey. Rogers has leadership roles in multiple organizations tied to local politics. She is married to an active council member. This council member was in the building during parts of the interview process, although not in the room during his wife's interview. There has been no claim of illegal activity, but the ethical problem is bigger than illegal versus legal. The ethical problem is whether the structure was designed to protect the city from reasonable doubt. The ethics floor, not illegal, is not the same as fit for public confidence. The issue is not that something is illegal. The issue is that something is not ethical and not structured to protect public confidence. Municipal politics are bound by fiduciary duty, allegiance to the public trust, avoidance of conflict, and protection from competing influence. Even in the absence of criminal allegations, public bodies still have to avoid creating a structure that reasonably suggests conflict, favoritism, or predetermined outcomes. And that's where behavior becomes evidence. I agree. Because in a well-run process, the city doesn't just do the thing. It shows the public how and why the thing is being done, and it anticipates the obvious concerns before the public has to drag them into the light. When the city does the opposite, moves fast, limits examination, and treats reasonable questions as disruption, it teaches residents that oversight is unwelcome. Yes, very good, Alyssa. These are all very important points. Absolutely. Sorry, give me 1 second. No. Fiscal distress changes the burden of proof. This was made more difficult by the fact that the same meeting addressed Harvey's serious financial troubles. Officials spoke of pension enforcement and revenue intercepts that limit the city's maneuverability, especially within grant programs. Citizens were bluntly informed the city is in trouble. If money is tight, honesty is plentiful. But here's the credibility problem. Fiscal crisis makes process more important, not less. When a city is financially constrained, every major decision needs a clearer paper trail, a clearer rationale, and a clearer explanation, not a shorter fuse and a thinner packet. Absolutely, I agree. Rather, when residents asked to examine what was described as a roughly $60,000 one-month deal line by line, frustration was evident. Requests for service rendered and explanation were met with pushback. And that behavior matters because pushback is not just tone, it's a message. It tells residents, we will tell you the city is in trouble, but we will resent you for verifying the numbers. That is how trust collapses in real time. You cannot tell residents that the city is fiscally challenged and then treat fiscal examination like disruption. I agree. And that's what I've said the whole time. Like, how do we know? Harvey could have a surplus for all we know. They could all be buying homes in the Poconos or what have you. We have no idea because we're just taking their word on it. Defensiveness is a governance tell. This is the part leadership needs to understand. Defensiveness is not neutral. When officials meet document requests with irritation, mockery, hostility, or avoidance, it creates a predictable public inference that the underlying paperwork will not hold up under daylight. Even if that inference is wrong, the city creates it by its own posture. Strong governance has a different reflex. Here are the documents, here's the scope, here's the basis, here's the timeline, here's what you're voting on and why. Weak governance has one reflex. How dare you ask? And that is true. That's how we get treated. That's the credibility gap, not the question, the response to the question. Second Ward Alderwoman Colby Chapman asked for a moratorium on non-essential spending and a definition of what constitutes essential spending. That is not obstruction. That is governance. If Harvey is asking residents to accept fiscal responsibility, leadership has to set its own standards in writing. And that question, what is essential, is not an argument. It's a test of whether leadership is willing to be governed by the same discipline it asks the public to accept. This isn't one issue, it's a pattern of decision-making. Harvey residents aren't only reacting to one appointment or one vote. Residents are reacting to repetition, compressed timelines, limited examination, tangled relationships, fiscal pressure, pushback against detailed review, calls for unity without written standards. Remember, like I said, even because I think Tracy's very well meaning, but remember when they did like put all the hands in like a team and everything, and unfortunately, the other members on the city council, Tracy might mean the best in the world, but they don't care. They're just taking advantage of that. And they're like, yeah, okay, sure, unity. Okay, well, this is fine as long as we can steal our money. That is a recognizable pattern. Patterns shape credibility more than any single vote. And this is not the only arena where residents have been forced to ask out loud basic questions of documentation and oversight. In November 2025, the city approved a redevelopment agreement to sell 10 city-owned properties to Turlington Homes, an LLC, involving parcels on the 15100 block of Turlington Avenue and along 151st Street. The reporting around that deal raised concerns about transparency, pricing, and the absence of independent, easily verifiable documentation residents expect when public land is sold. The broader plan described included up to 16 modern homes, with construction projected to begin in 2026 and conclude in 2027. Harvey's named after Turlington W. Harvey historically, but this Turlington Homes project is a separate entity. The name itself doesn't solve the core issue. When the public is told to trust the process has to be visible. And remember, we looked into that when they voted on it last fall. They voted, I think it was towards the end of October, and that LLC that these questionable people, with horrible track records are operating was started in early October. So it was like literally created to be part of this scam, like a new company. Like, why would you they don't even give one house, okay? The city won't give one house to one of our many hardworking Black and Latino contractors that have businesses based in Harvey. They might be carpenters, electricians, plumbers, roofers, what have you. They won't give one house. So why are they giving 10 houses to a company that was literally just founded a few weeks before they voted on it? Like, why would you do that? And this is why I agree with Melissa's article, why I'm sharing it. Because the whole way, the process, the way they're doing things tells you that they're not trustworthy at all. Because in redevelopment and in hiring, the vulnerability is the same. When documentation is thin, relationships start doing the work that policy should be doing. When relationships are doing the work, the public has no reliable standard to measure fairness. Exactly, because they're making all these decisions behind closed doors. The behavior that destroys trust isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's procedural. People think trust dies through scandals. Often it dies through smaller behaviors. The city moves quickly, but cannot clearly explain why urgency is necessary. The city announces outcomes before it builds the public foundation for them. Oh my gosh, yes. And that's the same thing that happened with the when they were planning, well, actually both metro stations, but the current metro station plan for the downtown station. They pretended to get public input, but they really didn't. They really did not get public input. And then that's how we got an ugly sin design, where I'm sure the contractors and their buddies are just making big bucks, because it's over $70 million for an ugly, horrible looking station. And they're closing Park Avenue, one of the main, north-south streets to build the station, or that's what they're proposing. So yes, I agree with this. Residents ask for documents and they get treated like they asked for a fight. Officials call for unity, but do not publish standards that unity can actually rest on. Scrutiny gets reframed as hostility, and accountability gets treated like disrespect. That is not just bad optics, that is bad governance, because the public learns how power works by watching how questions are handled. Brief note on public participation. And during all of this, troublemakers sought to sow racial discord and harass residents, including Ryan Cymbalski and me. This is Melissa talking. Such behavior must be summarily rejected. Accountability is not racism. Oversight is not hostility. Examination is not an attack. A city in transition cannot afford to let intimidation or provocation become a substitute for procedure. When outside noise takes over the room, it doesn't just harm individuals, it dilutes public participation and makes it easier for weak processes to hide behind chaos. Public warning statement. Public notice for a public record. I am continuing to document harassment and retaliation connected to my political expression and my public participation, including video evidence of threatening language and intimidation directed at me. I am not posting this to escalate conflict. I am posting it to create a public record and to draw a bright line. Civic disagreement is not intimidation, and oversight is not an attack. I also believe in self-preservation. Do what you will with that insight. Harvey doesn't need more decisions. Harvey needs to be able to trust in the decision-making. Harvey's rebuilding. Rebuilding requires more than filling seats. It requires fortifying the framework of decision-making. If leadership wants to rebuild trust, it can do so easily and publicly. Publish written criteria for clerk appointments, including conflict of interest protections and how they're applied. Put a written definition of essential spending in the open, not after disputes, but before votes. Provide documentation for significant spending decisions before votes in a format residents can actually review. Treat public examination as engagement, not provocation. Create predictable process norms, timelines, disclosures, document packets, and an expectation that questions will be answered with records, not irritation. Harvey does not need decisions. Harvey needs trust in the decision-making progress. And I agree with that. So thank you, Melissa, for sharing that. I shared it. Also, not only is it true Harvey doesn't need decisions, but you'll notice that the city is they're always pushing things through. Remember when Korean spoke at the meeting, she's like, oh, you guys have to vote on this tonight, otherwise we can't get this money for Broward. We can't get this money. Well, why is this coming up at the last minute? We didn't have any public discussion on this. Well, money for what? Like, why are they so hurried? They do that. They hide everything to the last minute, and then they're like, oh, gotta do it now, gotta vote out now, because they just want that money, and they want the minimum oversight. The least oversight possible. Who's fixing the burned house behind the press conference? I may have overlooked the answer. No idea. Supposedly they're gonna build new houses. Do you believe them? Do you believe Jedediah Brown and his group of grifters? Remember how he said he was gonna fundraise what $100,000 or something, and he was going to build his headquarters here. Same thing. These people all have track records of making money for themselves, taking things for themselves, and they don't live in Harvey. So yeah, I don't have much to say as far as positive about that. Oh my gosh, you guys. Man, I can't stop yawning. Oh, also. Hey, D, I heard you covered that fire. Another dangerous fire. And remember, sometimes, like what happened with the Sibley fire last week, oftentimes fire station number 2 is not manned because we only have 3 or 4 firefighters on shift. There's supposed to be, I think they said like a minimum of 7, but really it should be like a minimum of 10 is the best. But when that station isn't open, and if there's a train on the CSX tracks that go, diagonally through the city, that means that our fire trucks can't get to certain parts of North Harvey. Could you imagine a huge fire, spreading, or someone being hurt or dying because of that? Surely, maybe you just need to get rid of some of these supervisors. Maybe you need to drop your salary. Maybe you need to stop taking 2 patrol officers off the streets in order to guard you. Maybe you don't need to use a city vehicle. Maybe that money could be put towards hiring firefighters so that all of our stations are open. So fires like today's happen, that we don't run the risk of, you know, loss of life or severe loss of property. Because like I said, if that fire station 2 is closed, which it often is, and there's a train, our fire trucks can't, they can't get across town. That's why there's more than one fire station. I'll drive by tomorrow to see if that property is boarded up. Yes, please do. And check to see if your lovely, I say sarcastically, alderperson, Tyrone Rogers, is doing anything about it. I doubt that. I'm sure he's celebrating and happy that they got his scammer of a wife into that clerk position. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Worst person ever to get in that position. Very dangerous too, because she's signing. Remember, normally the clerk is not supposed to be signing checks, but because they've been doing this illegally for years, where they've locked our elected treasurer out of the city books, and they have the city clerk signing checks. So not only is are they going to give Janet Rogers, who has this horrible track record of fraud and like I said, that the $1.5 million chicken wing gate scandal that was never solved, and never, all that happened under her watch, all these horrible things that I'm told All in the Q did a great job of documenting. So go check out All in the Q's channel for that. But she's overseeing all the sensitive documents, all the paperwork, and assigning the checks. This is like it's like the fox guarding the hen house. Check to see if it's boarded up tomorrow. Do you love that fire? It was bound to happen. It's been vacant for years. People were still staying in those vacant apartments. Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm all for, like, I want people to have housing, but you know what I mean? Like, that's our city politicians. They don't care about that. They don't care if squatters are in, but like, and that's not like, if you want to do housing, okay, then have people like give away these empty properties or sell them affordably to all the contractors that live in Harvey. You don't have to sell them to anybody outside of Harvey. We have enough that live here in Harvey, and the city refuses to sell them. Why? Because they're not volunteering to give the politicians enough of something for it. That's why. So the new clerk will be messy. Oh, yes, that is an understatement. Oh yeah. I mean, she has more scandal on her record, and it's not rumored. I mean, it's all documented. What was I gonna show you guys? Oh, something with the township. That's right. Hold on. Oh, should we respond to it? Looks like Jed sent his minions to try to harass me again. Messy's not the word for it. Let's see what his minions of harassers were saying. So I posted about the scam of the Turlington homes, and let's see. Yeah, here's about why do you delete comments? You're weird. Ryan, you're a seasoned realtor, investor, flipper. Why do you continue to knock everyone and everything with your negativity? Don't you have the context and resources to revitalize Harvey neighborhoods? And Agnes Entrus says, "Great questions." Okay, so it's Jed's team of harassers. So I can say, actually, I do know tons of investors who are local and honest. The city politicians that you support refuse to work with them because they won't pay bribes. So the question goes back to you and Jed's gang of harassers. Why are you and your allies stopping honest, hardworking, local investors who live in Harvey? Why are you and your allies stopping honest, hardworking local investors who live in Harvey from fixing up all these properties? Why? And of course, they're not going to have an answer for that, but I think it's still good. Oh, and then I don't even know this lady. Ryan, why are you deleting comments? And then I said, oh, hi, Agnes. I can't say that I know you. I have no idea who she is. Why would you assume I was deleting comments? And then Paul said, Agnes, Ryan does not have admin privileges in this group. He cannot delete comments. 2 group members left comments about each other that broke the first 2 rules of this group. I didn't even see him, honestly. Kim said, I apologize. I was attacked. Oh, I think I did see him earlier today. Jedediah made some really, really inappropriate comments about on the cute Kimberly. Let's see. If not messy, describe it, laughing. Dangerous. Yes, dangerous. Very dangerous. These are dangerous thieves, very deceptive people. Okay, D-Liv, I believe you are correct. It would be worse than messy. It would be dangerous. They really should have done a market analysis for those properties starting at 180K. There's a beautiful home just built and completed 10/20/25. That house still has not been sold. Phoenix, right? At this point, a clerk with a history of being unethical is a poor choice for Harvey. Yeah. Oh, yes. Definitely. And then here's Miss Rucker. She was always defending. I've talked to her in person before, but I don't know what they're paying her or offering her, or whatever. But she was always defending Clark and Jed and everything. What do you offer your community? What's your solution? She's saying to me. I said, oh, and that's when Jed responded, which he should not be doing that. I said, I gave some great ideas in my post. We have Black and Latino contractors right here in Harvey. Why are they giving our public land away to white folks from out of town? You're okay with this? What are you getting out of this? Now, of course, she's not going to have any answer. And then, let's see. Whoever Fun Heron is, this troll. Hey, some white folks from out of town have donated property to nonprofits for $1. I've used local realtors to sell in Harvey. I'm like, that's great. Then you're not the white people I'm referring to. Then I guess it doesn't apply to you. Don't feel guilty. No good whatsoever. Complaining all the time. Use your knowledge and resources. And let's say, bro, stop being a stooge for these scammers. Tell your buddies to stop blocking sales of all these empty homes to Harvey residents who have been trying to buy them to fix them for years. Why would they do that? What in the hell is wrong with them? And of course, I'm asking that more as a rhetorical question. We already know, right? And then Kimberly had a great question. She said, the better question is, what is the community getting with this development? Will the development company be made to better that entire street on both sides, fix all roads, infrastructure, make sure lighting's there? Are they going to help residents maybe who are nearby to do some repairs? It shouldn't just be about building one street. This should be about building a neighborhood and a community. But of course, they're never going to do that. Not to mention that the prices they are asking are way too high for an area that is known for rampant corruption and has, let's see what we say, burnt out houses and trash all around. Who wants to pay $180K to look at that? Okay. Anyway, I don't think I was looking for that, but better that we responded to that. Oh, yes, this is what I was looking for. Okay. Did you guys know that this?
Good evening.
Most of us were at the hold on one second. Ryan, remind everyone to like. Thanks, Solomon. Yes, if you can like, share, subscribe, I appreciate you guys. I do have my info at the bottom if you ever want to donate to Bienvenue Chicago. I have way too many things to do because I need to start a nonprofit. I think that would be great because then we could do tax deductible donations. And so if anyone has any ideas or inspiration or you'd like to take part in that, let me know because I don't want to overlap with, we already have nonprofits in the area, but I was thinking something like Sustainable Southland, or I don't know, I have to think of that. But basically the theme would be, to try to fill in some of those gaps, like to help animals because we don't have animal control, to help if there are disasters or people need food, shelter, clothing, what have you. Also, I would like to be able to work with the Historical Society, but have a nonprofit fundraising arm so that we could pursue grants for longtime Harvey residents who live in their homes, but maybe they need work done that they can't afford or that they're not sure how to do, especially our elderly. Our most endangered residents right now, and this is the irony of this whole thing, calling me racist, right? Our most endangered residents are our elderly Black residents. So they're some of the people that moved to Harvey. A lot of them were involved in integrating maybe the part of Harvey where they lived even too. But that is the irony. You have all these Black politicians that are basically selling out their grandmother and their grandfathers for freaking money and land, you guys. Now, if there's anything that is racist, I don't know what is more racist than that, especially when you have the same skin color and you want to appeal to that community and say, oh, look, I'm one of you, so you should support me and vote for me. And that guy over there, mine is racist. Really? But you want to kick them out of their house? You don't care if their water bill goes through the roof, their property taxes go through the roof, their streets are a mess, they have no lights, everything's trashy, they don't feel safe. Is that how you care for your people? Because that's not what I want for my people in Harvey. I feel very strongly about helping everyone in Harvey, no matter who you are, no matter your race or your age or your language, your background. We have a lot of Hispanics. We have a lot of a large Indian minority as well. Like we all should be getting these services. So I that's the biggest lie and the biggest irony. It's like, well, actually, you guys are the ones that are endangering, trying to basically kick our residents out of their homes. Solomon Brown, thank you for reminding me. Yes, Ryan. One thing they can't take away from you: you have been fighting for Harvey, Illinois, way before Clark, and now everyone is jumping on the train. Oh yeah. I mean, I try. Thank you, D-Love. I really just want to see Harvey do well. And my uncle, my great uncle, who he and his parents started Wasso's grocery store in the 40s as a flower set. They were selling flowers and stuff, on the side of the road. They always had a great reputation in the community. They would always help people out. And I remember my So my relatives were telling me, because they built a few houses actually on Lincoln by the old St. Susanna Church. And they even had like a young man that they met. And I don't know, I don't think he was Black, but I think he was some immigrant. I forget where he was from. But anyway, he, at the time, he didn't have a job. He wasn't doing very well. And that was just one example of like the Wassos brought him in and basically kind of made him a member of the business and the family. They gave him work, they trained him. So like that's the kind of ethos that I'm pulling from, people that help each other. When you get ahead in life, you should be looking to help other people. Like these people, Janet Rogers, Napoleon, Clark and his gang, the McCaskells, they have taken so much from public resources over the years. If they just even left and retired now, you know what? Some people may not even want to even pursue them to try to make them pay back, what they stole. But it's like it's never enough. And they don't want to help anybody else up. They just continually want things for themselves. I don't understand that, and I don't want to see that for Harvey, Yes, Dila, people are jumping on the Stanford Justice and Harvey train. I saw Ryan in a video at the city council meeting when Kellogg was in office. Oh, okay. Oh, the old ones, are they still online? I suspect last week's township meeting was canceled because several employees were going to comment about their $1,000 bonus checks being taken away. After a week, only one spoke up. Yes, and please, if you help me, Paul, and help me, viewers, I want to identify that lady and I want to speak with her, and I would like to interview other township employees because that is disgusting. It's unethical. It has to be illegal. But I'm going to share her video and I'm going to explain to you what was explained to me because I didn't know that this happened. And as you know, I wasn't there covering on Monday because they scheduled the township meeting at the same time as the Harvey meeting. Why do they get a bonus? And that I'm not clear on either. They want to go up on the taxes so they can give out bonuses. Exactly. Engage the Latino community. Yes. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm trying. If anybody has any ideas for that, I always tell people, I'm like, guys, I know you're afraid, but like I get afraid too. Like everybody gets afraid. Like if we all stick together, if we just got our Latino community to stick to come out to more meetings, that's more than 30% of Harvey. Like that would scare the crap out of the politicians. I'm serious. But it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? People say, well, I'm not going to come to meetings or speak up because nothing's going to change anyway. So then they don't come to meetings and they don't speak up. And guess what? Nothing changes. But you just created your self-fulfilling prophecy. Like in order to get a crowd, a group to really create that pressure for change, like groups are made of individuals. So if every individual just says, oh, well, I know, I know I'm a Spanish speaker. Yeah, I know, I'm a Harvey taxpayer. I probably should go to a meeting. I probably should speak up. I probably should get in touch with someone like Ryan or Dee who could get me plugged in. But, it's not going to change anything. Well, then that's why we don't have a bigger group, that is, I mean, and don't get me wrong, we've made a lot of progress the past few years. But, your voice, your individual voice matters. It really, really matters. And we need all those individuals to come out to the meetings and speak up and ask questions, because then all of a sudden that becomes a group. And like I said, that will scare the what out of these politicians. So, hey, Cher, how have you been? Everyone okay in the fire? Yeah, as far as I know, the post that I saw, they said there weren't any injuries, so at least that's good. So get this. This lady spoke up at the township meeting. Apparently, what I found is at the township got bonuses, but Napoleon handed out you're not going to believe this, you guys. This is crazy. Remember everything that they made fun of Tiffany for? Listen to this. So what I'm told is that he only handed out the $1,000 bonus checks to township employees who attended his fundraiser. And of those who didn't, I think I was told about 30 maybe didn't attend or something like that. I don't know the exact number. But of those who didn't, Napoleon tore up their bonus checks. That is highly unethical and illegal. You cannot require employees to attend a political fundraiser. You cannot do that. You cannot not do that. Did you hear that? So we need to look into this more because I mean, this is crazy. Could you imagine if Tiffany would have done this? Now remember, the machine, the Democratic machine wanted Tiffany gone. They were working with the media and with a lot of sources to create a lot of pressure on Tiffany. Could you imagine if she had done this? Oh my gosh. Who knows? Jed might have been in there starting another fight. You know what I mean? So I just don't understand why. I just heard about this today. Last year, the township board voted down Tiffany's motions to give bonuses to all the township employees. I don't recall seeing anything about bonuses on the agenda. Exactly, Paul. Ooh, that pisses me off. Can someone explain why the bonus checks were delayed? Also, why are township meetings not being made public? Delayed? I don't know. Other than they didn't want to give the bonuses out under Tiffany, I don't know about any delays. They are public, but they don't announce the township meetings very well. They do the bare minimum. They'll like hang, one piece of paper on Township Hall, like barely 48 hours in advance. So they're not like putting an agenda out online ahead of time or anything like that, or any materials. Wow, exactly. Those who got checks attended an employee appreciation lunch on a Saturday in January. Okay, thank you. But I was told, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but what my source told me is that was a political fundraiser for Napoleon. But, we need to get more information on that. Latino is your 501 grant. Oh, Solomon, say more about that. You mean like some grants to help our Latinos? Because boy, they sure do need help. There's like no. Did you notice on our boards we have almost no Spanish speakers on any parks, schools, city, on almost any of the boards. The ones that are there are often either quiet or they're like Rosa, our former clerk, who just buys into the corruption. And there's very little translation. Even a lot of the forms don't even have translation. That's like crazy considering we're more than a third Latino now. So let's listen to this lady's comment. She was one of the ones that didn't attend the what I was told was a fundraiser, and consequently, she did not get her $1,000 bonus.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. My name is Beverly Tomzak. I'm an employee of Thornton Township, and March 5th will be 21 years.
Okay, so she was hired under Zuccarelli.
I'd like to make a statement about the appreciation $1,000 checks that were distributed at the appreciation gala. I'd like to speak on behalf.
Okay, she says appreciation gala.
behalf of the employees that were not there to attend. I was not there because I have congestive heart failure and a lung disease. So I could not go out in that kind of weather. Where are my physicians? I did not come to work on Friday. Why should I go out on Saturday? I don't feel it's right that we did not receive those checks. We should be appreciated all year for what we have done.
Now wait. Why is dude wearing a mask now? What the hell's going on? And they're having this meeting upstairs. How many freaking times did these people bitch and moan about Tiffany having me? She's having meetings upstairs and she's stacking with her employees, and that's not fair, and that's not fair. So now what is his ass doing? The same freaking. They're going to try and fire her now for speaking up, or they're going to force her to retire. That's why if anyone knows who she is, Beverly Tomzak, did she say? I don't have her contact info. I want to talk to her, and I want to talk to other employees too, because they should all be protected. And if any of them do get fired, I hope that they sue. I hope they all sue and do a class action. Let them try to fire those people, because that is bogus what he did to them. Beverly Tomzak works in the Township Assessor's Office. Oh, thank you, Paul. Okay. Yeah, if you know of any way to contact her, I mean, I guess other than just I could call, but I don't want to get her in trouble, but I would like to contact her. If anybody has her Facebook or anything.
We We have rode many rough seas here the last 4 years, and we did not let the ship sink.
Now look at Mary. Look at her face. What is she looking at? She cannot even look an employee in the face that was denied $1,000 bonus because she didn't come to some event that Napoleon wanted them to come to. Is this the same lady that said unasked that seat, and she was real loud and boisterous and yelling at Tiffany and everything? I don't understand. Who are these people? If they're not being paid off, they sure are behaving like they are. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. I cannot believe it. Let's look at that again. Look. What is she looking at? I mean, she's kind of mean mugging her, but at least Miss Stubbs is looking at the speaker. Like, Miss Mary, I'm so disappointed. I don't, yeah, very disappointing.
Not let the ship sink. I just want to speak up because I don't think it's justified. I have the weather report. I also have things from ADP where the checks were written out and then they were taken back. This is.
Oh, she's got the proof too. From ADP, you work it, lady. I would say that name looks like Polish. Is it Polish or Eastern European too? She's probably been in there for a while. Solomon says you're nonprofit, Latino focused. Oh, I see what you mean. Well, I don't know if I want to narrow it too much though, because like I said, there are other things like I want to help with the animals since we don't have animal control and stuff like that. But yeah, that would definitely be a really big important fit. Yeah, thank you, Solomon. That's actually a great idea. I appreciate that. See, we all need each other. So she just made a point. She said all this BS that's been happening, she's worked there for 21 years, and she said we've been the employees. Now remember, while all of us had been covering the drama and everything, she has a good point. She's saying we've actually run the township, and this is how they get treated.
This is not fair. This is not fair. We've all had reasons why we didn't come. I can't speak for others. I can only speak for myself. I also want to know, because I checked the minutes, did the board vote on this? Did the board?
Look at this. Look, cannot even make eye contact. And the lawyer, Steve Ladizinski. I mean, I don't know how these people sleep at night. I really don't.
Vote to withhold the $1,000 checks. I would like to know, because I checked the minutes. I did not see it on any agenda. I did not see it on any minutes. That's their job. And you, supervisor, are the one that has to stand up and listen to me. If I was playing in the Super Bowl and I was on the Seahawks and I was sick that day, would I not get the ring?
Oh, she pulled out a football analogy for Napoleon. Oh, very good, Beverly. The assessor was one of the first to criticize Tiffany's spending, so Tiffany locked her out of her office and reduced the assessor's budget every year. But that was actually really smart of her, using a football analogy.
You're a football player. You know I would get the ring. So I'm done.
No, wait, wasn't, as I recall too, I think Napo was out a few times in his career for injuries too. I wonder how he would have felt if they would have cut his pay when he was injured. He probably wouldn't have liked that very much.
Sorry. I had to voice my opinion.
Thank you. Don't apologize.
Next up, we have Angela Russell.
And the clerk's like, Thank you. She's horrible too. Can you believe that? Wow. Okay, so we need to get more information about this. I'm sure all in the queue probably knows about that at this point, but I really didn't know. I just found out today that happened. I said, "What is this video going around? Who is this lady, and what is she commenting about?" So that's pretty bad. So we need to get more information. If anybody has more information, especially if you have the flyer from that event or information about the event. But my source told me that it was a political fundraiser event. Now, it may have had a title of some sort of employee appreciation, but I was told that it was a fundraiser for Napoleon, and that only the employees that showed up were given the $1,000 bonus checks. And not only that, and of course, I asked, I said, well, does anybody have video? Does anybody have video? I don't know. So far, no. But if anybody has video of that event, please let me know. I want to see that. Everybody needs to see that. But what I was told is that not only did he not give the $1,000 bonus checks to employees that didn't show up to his fundraiser, but that he physically ripped them up. So I'm like, oh boy, it would be great if someone had a video of that. But yeah, we need to investigate and get some more facts on this. So if you guys know anything, let me know. Otherwise, that's all I have for everybody tonight. Let's see. Wow, right? That's how I feel too. No apologies, right? I'm just like, the depth of deceit that these people go to, and hypocrisy. And remember, all these people were the ones that were so loud, yelling about Tiffany's doing this, Tiffany's doing that. We're not going to approve. We're not going to give her $500 to do blah, 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 blah. Remember the ice cream socials? And we're not going to let her do this. We're not going to let her do that. And now they're doing all these things that cost millions of dollars, and they're wasting our money. Warren Township employees need to be represented by a labor union with dues taken out of the supervisor's salary. Right, exactly. I agree. Let's see what else we have going on this week. I got to text Monet because she said that she's supposed to be having some kind of function on Saturday at the mall in River Oaks. So I don't know. I have to see, especially after that latest incident. I know she was very not happy. I shared that video, where they wouldn't let the young man Adam Killa in the mall, and he brings people to patronize the businesses, like they weren't coming in to loot them or something. They were there to actually be a positive influence, probably because of NAPO and or Thaddeus Jones, who's mayor and state rep there. I'm sure he was like, oh no, we can't. Those people can't be allowed to get any good press. He probably put pressure on them to keep out of the mall. So. All right, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining. I'll hop on a little bit of TikTok live at Ryan's Gay Chicago with the same name if you want to say hi. It's a little more laid back there, more just day to day. But I do want to find more people to interview and stuff there too. So it's actually a really nice way to network. TikTok has been good. Share. Sorry, I missed your message. I believe everyone's fine, but the building was vacant. Yeah, that's what John Keller said in his report too. So, and thank you, Dee, for reporting on that. Thank you. All right, guys. Bonne nuit. À demain.